Block Rocker back with a review of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Okay, this is not something I really thought I was going to enjoy. Not a massive Godzilla fan. When I was a kid, this stuff would be on TV all the time. I remember being scared to death of Gargantua and some of the others. I actually have the first few issues of the Godzilla comic book came out. I don't know, probably late 70s. Might be worth something. I should check it out. So, I finished off the series, and a few things I want to point out. Overall, I enjoy it. It's a different take on the franchise, kind of gives a fresh look at where the Titans come from. Um, yeah, overall, positive. Let me talk about the things I noted. First, Kurt Russell using his son Wyatt Russell for him to be young and old, brilliant. They sound almost exactly the same at times too. If you're not looking at the screen and Wyatt's talking, you might think it's Kurt. Very, very strong family resemblance. So that was cool. Um, what was the other nifty bit I liked? Oh man, I got to talk about this girl, Anna Saway. So I told you I liked Shogun, and she plays the main character in that, and she's fabulous in that. If I had seen Monarch before I saw Shogun, I'd be like, "Ah, she's in it," because she's not exactly outstanding in Monarch. That could just be the material. She's fine. She's serviceable, but what I find fascinating, she was born in New Zealand, and then she was like a singer in a J-pop band. The point is she speaks flawless English, and her body language and physicality in Shogun, where she's speaking flawless Japanese, and she was born in New Zealand, keep that in mind. Her mannerisms and her physicality in Shogun, very, very authentic Japanese. Whereas in Monarch, she's Japanese American, born and raised here. Her mom, um, did her mom have a Japanese accent? I don't think so. There's a little confusion about parentage in here, so you'll know why I'm not sure. And she plays a young woman who grew up American. Now, one thing I really didn't like that they did with her had to do with her relationship. There, and you'll see what I mean when you see it. There was absolutely no reason for it. Number one, it doesn't add to the story at all. And number two, it's clearly ticking a checkbox in to get the message out. Now, the show starts with John Goodman on Monster Island, and it doesn't really pay off until the last episode, and you don't really know what that's about. They do kind of tie it in. I don't think they explained it enough. They absolutely set up another season. One of my pet peeves with this, though, I'm not a big fan of the subtitles, is when you've got so there's a main guy, you don't see him a lot really, even though he's very pivotal to the whole thing. But when you see him as a young man, he was raised, so he's Japanese, but he's raised speaking English. They show him, older, probably 25, 30 years old, speaks flawless English. Then, as a middle aged guy, he's got a Japanese accent and he's speaking to his son who speaks flawless English, and there's nobody else in the room, so they're not trying to hide the conversation, and they've got them speaking in Japanese to each other. There's no reason for it. It just forces us to subtitles, which takes our eyes off of what's going on the screen. And I just find that frustrating. If you don't need to have people speaking another language, don't have them do it. The subtitles is very frustrating. For Shogun, it makes a lot of sense. And overall, they do a good job with it. A lot of things I've seen when you have to establish that the two groups don't speak the same language, then you have them speaking different languages in front of each other. But then when you go away, no matter what the group is, they're speaking English amongst themselves, so they don't have to go to the subtitles. It just takes your eyes away from the action too much, and that's my only frustration with it. So Monarch, yeah, fun if you like the monster movie stuff in particular. If you like that mythos, definitely. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. I wasn't like reading the news while I was watching it. So there you go.